You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Howard's out today. Hopefully he'll be back. His power's out in his house, but we're good to go because, look, it's very simple. The dollar is still sliding. We want to know what's going on with the dollar. Well, it's very simple. It's probably going into hell in a handbasket as we continue to see inflation rearing its ugly head. We saw where import prices rose by 3%. That's crazy numbers here. We're getting to the point now where things could get a little out of control here. How we know this? Well, it's very simple. I'm looking over at the gold price here. Gold now, goodness sakes alive, $36.81 and almost $43 here on silver. So we are still seeing a push in the metal market here as lumber continues to sell off. Not every commodity is falling along. Now, looking over at the WTI, $63.80 now a barrel. So we are seeing oil starting to push back up here a little bit. But the word on the street now is stagflation and possibly recession. So these things are getting worse and worse as we are going into it. But I don't understand, Big Pete, why is the market still going up? Well, one of the things that I've been talking about is the new way that we are trading now, the zero DTEs. The way that we are trading now, that it is the dopamine in our heads trying to get that extra dollar. Hey, I'm as guilty as anybody because I like it too. But if I were to tell you that the margin debt at banks over for trading is at the highest in history, that is why we are seeing the markets the way that they are. As long as the banks continue to give us leverage, that is how they are making their money right now, right? They're charging you interest to be on margin so that you can trade and have more power. And they're making money off of it. Why? Because they're not making money on the homes. Their 30-year mortgages, their 15-year mortgages weren't making that much money, right? Because they're making 2% and 3% and 4%. They are now, but no one's taking a mortgage out. So they had to find other ways of doing it, and they did, and this is how it's being done. At some point, that money will come off of the off. Now I'm going to pull up some charts here to show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully we can get to this real soon. And I'm going to pull up the first thing that I talked about yesterday was lumber prices, and that's telling me exactly what I need to know. I'm going to add, there you go. You can see here, lumber prices are starting to turn a little bit, right? It is a very weak market, meaning that there's not a lot of players in that market. So that's always a concern to me. But you can see what happens. You can see back here in June of last year, and here we are in September of this year, where things started to turn around. And then you can see September. So this is becoming a little bit more of a seasonal situation here. I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to pull up a monthly chart. This is another piece right here. You can see 1, 2, and 3. We tested those bottoms 3 times and turning back around. So for me, I think that that's a good telltale sign. Let's put a sticker to it, right to it. USO, there's the oil. We're trying to see a little bit of balancing out here. So maybe this is where oil holds here. I have a feeling that's the case. Now, XAG, we already know. Look on that monthly chart, way out of the bounds. We're talking about all the way back to 2011 when we got back up there. Some people are still calling for $50 an ounce. Right there's what it is, $49.96. Didn't break above it. Why am I saying 43? Because right there is where it was the last 2 times where it tried to test back in 2011. That's September of 2011. Did not get through it. And over the next 5 to 6 years, we saw a test at the bottom all the way back to where we were buying it. If you know, for those of you who are playing along with us, this is why we were doing it. We were playing the breakout, the $19 breakout, and it did it once and twice, and there we go. So for those of us that were in it a couple of years ago, now here we are in the breakout. So this is why I'm saying the markets are really having a problem here. So I'm very interested in what happens over the next next bit here. I'm going to pull up a chart. This is the 1 hour chart as it is testing that 43 handle. There it is. So let's see if it can go up. Right now, it's telling you yes. It's telling you that we are going to try to continue to push on up. We have been keeping our eye on Tesla, which we know that Elon Musk is now tied his pay to it. 1 minute chart there now showing here a little bit this morning. We're now testing. We went down, we went up a little bit. But we're still in a downtrend. Yesterday, if you were playing along with us, you can see where I was talking about it, that I was short, and we nailed that short pretty hard. Now, I did not stay in it. I did take my money and run, but you can see at 6 a.m. yesterday this morning, more selling. And then, of course, here it was at 7:19, heavy selling and selling again there at the 8 a.m. But this selling is abated a bit here. So you can see here over the last 30 minutes that selling has slowed down and buyers are stepping back in. So this could be a push to the upside here. Maybe the buyers, maybe even Elon Musk. So let's keep our eyes peeled, watching for signs of retaliation here for the markets. Now we'll pull up a 3-minute chart. As you know, that's what I like, 3-minute charts. And you can see here there was the 9 a.m. Yesterday. We saw that selling and it really kind of pulled back. And then, of course, we can see here where it stopped. Where to stop? Well, around 2:45 yesterday. So that was the options market peeling off. And then, of course, this morning, a little bit back, popped back up this morning. So let's see. Let's keep our eye. Tesla could be the numbers that we are interested in today. UNH, and a lot of people out there are looking at UNH. It is pulling back a little bit here. I'll pull up a 1 hour chart. As you know, we've had a heck of a run over the last few days. A little bit of pullback, but linear regression is still saying to the upside. So I am looking for a turnaround again today. AI, I know over the last few days, AI has definitely been selling off. People have been talking about it in the markets. Oh, AI is dead. AI is not even close to being dead. It's still starting here. So, yeah. Hearing reports now that the U.S. House will vote on a 7-week funding bill. All right, that'll keep us out of trouble here a little bit. It looks like I'll paste that so that everybody can see those numbers coming in. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I will banners. There you go. All right, let's get to it. Howard's favorite, Solana. There it is. Oof. Solana now trying to go back up. It's had a heck of a run over the last. If you've been listening to Howard Hondo, he's been telling you very clearly that Solana has been a nice runner and is over the last few weeks has been quite well, the meme coin world. So let's keep our eye on that too as well. All right, let's get to it. Dollar yen. That's what we've been talking about for a while. Dollar yen has been selling off as the dollar has been getting beaten up. Pull up the Dixie for everybody here. Look at that sell-off. Now, for those of you who know, I had drawn a massive line showing those lower bottoms. And there it was. We have to go back to 2022. It's tested again. And you can see linear regression on the downside. I don't see anything holding this puppy up. This thing could do exactly what Steve Flanagan was telling us yesterday. More selling, and it could break, and it could get down to about 95. So we are a little bit worried here about the Dixie of the dollar. Look, the dollar selling off is good for our products to sell internationally. Are we selling our stuff? I don't know. We are at a 7-month low here, and that's what I'm concerned about. And the dollar, the oil markets, the gold and silver markets, everything we've been talking about this morning is telling you exactly right that. So there we go. Hearing reports now, the Houthis now say that air defenses are currently confronting Israeli aircraft. So this is not just going in the Gaza Strip. They are attacking everywhere. It looks like the Houthis are hitting the Somalian airports too as well. All right. So big attacks going on over there. Let's keep our eyes. That should also add to gold and silver as well. Will that affect the stock market? I don't think so. Yeah, don't think so. All right, the VIX. I don't know. I'm going to pull up a 3-minute chart on the VIX so that everybody understands what we're talking about here. The VIX over the last few days has started to move up slowly. You can see now, for those of you who don't know, the VXX, that is Oracle, according to CNBC, will keep TikTok cloud deal under a new agreement. So Oracle is getting TikTok. That deal supposedly is closing in the next 30 to 45 days. There you go. We can keep our eye here now again on the VIX. Look at this 3-minute chart. All right. So yesterday morning around 9:36, where is that? The open, right? So we have been watching slowly the VXX pushing up, $33 to now $34.04. All right, I'm going to pull up a daily chart. And we know there's a grind. We get it. And we know that you buy the VIX as insurance, right? You buy insurance when you can, not when you have to. Big Scott Bauer, we all know that. Seems to be buying down here. Seems to be buying down here heavy. You can see where the volume is starting to pick up to the upside. Institutions are buying volatility. So be careful there. I'm going to pull up Oracle chart here as that news just broke again. I'm going to pull up a 1-second chart so I can keep our eye on it. Here we go. It looks like some buyers are stepping back into Oracle here. Even after this run up this morning, I know there's a little bit of selling here this morning, but it looks like there is some buying on this news. CNBC now reporting it. My friend David Faber at CNBC is talking about it now. So looks like there is a little bit of buying in here. They're keeping their eye on that very tight here. Trump says he just signed the Mirren documents to move the Fed. So we have a new member of the Fed who was approved by one vote in the Senate yesterday. I think it was 49, 40, 48. I think is the numbers. I don't remember. 48, 47, I think is the numbers there. Yeah. All right. Keep my eye on quite a few things here. So I'll look at NVIDIA too, as well as NVIDIA still slipping over the last few days. There's a 1-hour chart. Mag 7's been having a rough struggle bus here over the last few days. You can even see where there was one big selling point here, and it has pulled back. We know that the lines here are pretty much telling us a little bit pushing up to the upside here still. But I think what you're seeing here is institutions starting to realize that maybe we're over our skis once again, making these new long-term deals. Trump now saying the relationship is very good with the UK. And we all know that he is on his way over to see the king. And feel like we're back in the 1789s where the president is going to meet the king. Okay, so 3404 here. You can see here we're starting to push up a little bit. When we see this over the last few weeks here, this is what happens when you see it. You see institutions start to buy. And then what happens? It takes off. And then it sells off. And the selling is harsh, right? I'm going to pull up this is a 1-hour chart, so hopefully you all can see this. I'll throw my head to the top. Might make it a little bit easier for everybody. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Right here, we're seeing the exact same thing. Now, linear regression is telling us that, okay, still to the downside, but when we start to see this kind of buying, MACD, CCI, Woody CCI, is an issue. And I'm starting to think that there is institutional buying for a reason. So I want everybody to keep their eyes very close on the VXX the next few days. QQQ, I'm going to pull up a daily chart in the Qs. You can see here. Sorry. You can see here. This is better. Yep. As you can see, I have Andrews pitchfork, and it is following my lines. So I laid the Andrews pitchfork at the bottom. U.S. manufacturing output came out at 0.2%. Forecast there was minus 0.2%. Previous reading there was 0. So we are seeing a little bit of a pop here in industrial production. Let's put up a 1-second chart here and see if we can see anything going on. Anything moving in this. Bitcoin dropping a little bit on the backs of that news. Cap utilization rate, 77.4%. That's in line. That means that everything's working together. The production and manufacturing is at the same level. So that's always good. You don't ever want that out of whack. So this should push it right back up. So there you go. Some numbers. Yeah. Okay. So it should push it right back up. Nothing changing there. But it looks like to me that in the VXX that things are pushing to the upside again. So I will be keeping my eye on this, as it looks like that there are some institutional buying here in the VXX. We call it insurance. You can see over the last day, more buying. So we have been pushing up. I'm going to pull up a 3-minute chart. As we talked about it. There it is. So institutions look like they are buying the VXX over the last few days. So I don't know if they're preparing for something, but we can tell you, looking at the dollar yen, 147, things are struggling, right? The dollar is struggling. We know that, right? 97 handle here, about to break again. So be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. Maybe the stocks that they want to look at, also hit me up. I like that too. Yeah, but this selling here in the dollar is a telltale sign here. All right. Get a chance. Pull up Quasar Markets here. This is our. I'll pull my head to the side so you guys can see me on the side. There we go. We do have as you can see, a Twitter feed that you're probably catching us on here this morning. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that follower button. You know, we love that. We love you guys watching us. We totally understand. We definitely appreciate everybody out there. And you can see, there it is. I'm live. So please hit that. Good morning, Marilyn. How are you? If you got any stocks you're looking at this morning, let me know. I'm waiting on Howard. Howard's power's out this morning. But we're back to watching the stock market here a little bit. So I'm sure this. Okay. Another one that I'm very interested in over the last few days has been Uber. I have been watching Uber because it looks like they are being sued by the government for disability discrimination. And it's a big one. It's $125 million in damages. They're really hitting Uber pretty hard, and Uber has been pushing to these highs. Will this affect Uber's stock price? It might. We are still seeing in the linear regressions, lately linear regression. Yeah, we can look at Apple today. Definitely still push the upside, but this lawsuit here is very interesting. All right, let's pull up. Marilyn's asking about Apple. Of course, I've been trading Apple over the last few days. I still think Apple has room to run to the upside. For those of you who are watching me over the last few days, I'm gonna pull up an hour chart. Here we go. You know that in that sell-off, I was long, and then of course it kept selling off, and I bought more and kept buying more, and got out yesterday on that big pop. Right now, it's still showing me the upside. It's a little out of the linear regression, and of course you can see this is Andrews pitchfork where it sold off at the half point, so we couldn't push above. I think we get right back up into it. I think we're going to see a little bit of reloading today. Look, there's a couple of news pieces that I think that we need to keep our eye on, and that's the selling of Apple products. Their iPhone is really doing quite well, especially the iPhone Pro Max. Try to buy one right now. I'm hearing now it's not even until November you won't get one. November. That's a long time, considering. So, and remember, the hardware really isn't where they're selling the most. It is in software, SaaS, software as a service. So this is where their money's coming in, and we know that they're buying. So, and we know that the AirPods, the new AirPods, we know that they're all the new products in it, but we know like being able to hear others, foreign services, foreign languages. But to me, this is definitely coming right back to it. So I expect 240 here in the next few days, actually, if everything goes well and that sell-off that I'm calling for doesn't come. Now, again, Apple being one of the biggest pieces of the picture, the puzzle for both Mag 7 and indexes. So be careful there too, indices. But be very careful because there could be a divergence. You can see now where the linear regression is pushed to the downside, yet what we're showing from the bottoms is trying to get back up there now. If this thing were to lay it all out for me, 242 is about where I think it's pushing to over the next few days. If you ask me, what do I think if I go to the daily chart? That's what you're looking at, daily charts. You can see this is what I meant in my Andrew's pitchfork. Could get back up at 250. This is where we were here back in February, before the sell-off happened in Apple. So right there is pretty much where we're at. You're welcome, Marilyn. When I'm asked about software, and I'm looking at gaming pretty heavily, that I have been talking about it since about $18 a share. Unity Software. If you look around, you pull your phone out, everywhere you look, Unity Software is their names in it, right? They're building on something. We know that, and look at this thing pushing to the upside. I am concerned now that Unity Software has gotten to where I thought we would get to. I thought 45 was about where we would get to. There we are. It could push higher, but Unity Software, if you're still in it, I am not. But if you are still in it, then I think you might be hitting that top there. How do I know how well the consumer's doing? I always look at a few stocks. One of them is McDonald's. Another one is Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza has been hit. They are now putting out lots and lots of deals to keep people buying their Domino's Pizza. They don't like splitting their stock, as we all know. But you can see here, again, pushing to the downside. This thing is putting in a flag. All right, what does that mean? What does that mean, Big B? What does a flag mean? Okay, well, let's do it. So you can see here the tops and the bottoms. That's a flag. It's a pin flag. It is a strong, strong flag. And this, to me, shows that it's a bear pennant because, quite frankly, if I tighten it up, if I pulled this line out even further, I could even lay it over. You can see if I laid it over back there, it's really tightening up, and that's probably why it's tightening up, right? I even tighten up our lines here and go all the way back. Domino's Pizza. This thing is showing me a couple of things. Now, if we added in and I'm gonna take this line here again and pull it back up, just make it a little tighter for us. This thing to me tells me, and of course you've got the MACD, so the numbers showing it, that with the news of Ozempic and the weight loss drugs and Wegovy and Mounjaro, Zepbound, you can see that maybe this is really affecting Domino's Pizza. I'm going to pull up Krispy Kreme, and it's also hurting. So with these weight loss drugs, this is very interesting. Now, I'm going to show you something that I saw not too long ago on other stocks, right? UNH. And I said, I think Warren Buffett's probably got his eye on UNH. Why? Because UNH throws off cash, all the things that Warren Buffett likes. Warren Buffett owns Dairy Queen. He owns a few things, right? He owns Coca-Cola stock. This would not be out of his wheelhouse. to own Krispy Kreme, especially as cheap as it is right here. And you can see right here, there's a huge gap all the way back in February. So this one here, if you have a long-term day, if you're like long-term stocks, Krispy Kreme could be a buyout. This stock is getting very cheap to me. Why is it very cheap to me? Because the market cap of Donut, D-N-U-T, Krispy Kreme, and they have a lot of stores, right, is a $500 million. $500 million. Volume here, average volume is 3.93 million. Okay. All right. Volume yesterday was 2.24 million. So less volume. If we start to see this volume start to come up, the average volume and the daily volume coming up, there's some buyers in it. Okay. I want to pull up a weekly chart. Here we go. There it is. In July the 21st, somebody bought a whole bunch of donut, right? That was based on that was their earnings, right? Okay. So somebody liked it, right? And over the last few months, people have been selling it. It's been quiet. This fits in the Warren Buffett narrative for me. Cash flow, a product, makes it every day. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. And it fits in with everything else he's doing. And we're starting to see buyers stepping back in. Now, I'm not telling anybody to buy it because the volume's too low for me. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I don't do that. But this is getting interesting to me. If I see stepping in, I could easily see this being a bought out and taken private. Dairy Queen was taken private or stuck into the Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio. The sellers have slowed up down here at the bottom. And you can see that right here in the weekly chart. Pull up a daily chart. You can see the sellers have slowed up. There's very, very little volume. I'm going to try to pull up as much volume as I possibly can so you can see because there's so little volume. But I'm going to do the lines again. Ba-doom, ba-doom. There it is. Look at that. So this one is getting very interesting to me. So, all right. Any other stocks out there you guys are looking at? Let me know. But we've got about 2 minutes now to the open. I'm going to keep my charts open for everybody. Bitcoin seems to be doing its thing again. I'll pull up a 1 second chart so we can keep our eye on Bitcoin. I think there should be some running here going into the and I don't recommend everybody looking at a 1 second chart, but as the open comes up, we'll switch it over to Tesla, which I think could be interesting here. Wow, keeping our President Trump says that he will be announcing a buyer for TikTok. Says a group of very big companies want to buy TikTok. So I think that's why they have a deal with the China, because he thinks he has a consortium or even several companies that are interested in it. I hope he's telling the truth there. For those of you who always see me looking around, I am surrounded by screens. So if you see me looking around, I'm not ignoring anybody. I have that many screens that I'm looking at. Here we go. We're looking at, wow. Yeah. 115.5, still at it. this issue here now with Israel attacking both Gaza now and a few other places is okay. We're now open the markets of 115.5 now on Bitcoin. I'm going to switch over to QQQ as I've talked about. Where are we with the Qs? Not much going on here. Tesla 414. We'll pull up Tesla because we have been watching Tesla. Pull up a 3-minute chart as we know that that's what I do watch. There it is. Nothing yet. Interesting enough, though, McDonald's here now pushing to the upside up 1.12%. AMD slipping here a bit. Tesla 414.97 here. We'll keep it tight. $416.417. If it doesn't get up there, it could be a seller here. We could sell it, make some money this morning, huh? $416.28, still not showing much here. Apple 236.84. You saw the pop there this morning there, and it got to 238, but not really showing me any much yet. 237.14. I do like Apple to the upside. You can see my numbers. You can see my charts telling you that exactly we should push back up, but markets aren't. Yeah, I'm not. All right, I'm going to pull up a 10-second chart on nothing yet. We're still seeing nothing there. There you go. It could be a seller here on Tesla. $416.46. 68 up there. If it gets back up there, I might be shorting Tesla this morning. Yeah, I think that I am. Yeah, I'm missing in here. I'm a little too short on this. Oh, there it is. There's what I was talking about. There's that. Can't do it. So now it's short. Let's let it pop back up. Maybe we'll get it again. Had a feeling that was going to sell off a little bit there. You can see linear regression on that 10-second chart right now is pretty tight. Yeah, there goes the selling. I had a feeling that was the case. I missed it, but I hope some of you out there were listening to me this morning and got in there. Let's see if we get back up there and try that again. It's very weak this morning, so. And more selling happening here in Tesla, looks like. Maybe not. Yeah, look, you're seeing this turn here a little bit. So maybe this next pop to the upside, we'll get a chance to short it again. Or not. It's very weak this morning. You're seeing it now here on the Ultimate MACD. Could be some buyers trying to hold it up here. 413 handle, they're broken pretty handily there. There she goes. 42.92 now. We are now less than 8 cents away from my call of $43 on silver. $6 away now for silver hitting $93. 411 now, 412 handle broken here as well. We might actually go negative here on the day on Tesla. $115.3 now on Bitcoin, as it is also steady here this morning. We'll keep our eye on here on Apple as well. Apple still in those, right in the lines here. I mean, obviously we're all waiting for the Fed tomorrow. I mean, that's what they're waiting on, right? I mean, that to me is where we're at. So it's 412.56, 50. Okay, let's see this pop back to the upside, because we know that Tesla's weak today. CoreWeave, most of you know I called that a bottom not too long ago, and it's really struggling at 125, 126 in that area. But if we pull up a 1 hour chart, you can see where CoreWeave had that big sell-off the other day. And anything under 90 to me, I thought was a little crazy, as too much to the downside. And we had a nice run. Now, I was out before then. So, all right. Tesla's really struggling up here at the 412. Pull up a daily chart. You can see where I think a lot of people are there's this big gap right here to under 400, which I think is what we're going back to with Tesla. And you can see where I talked about it. There's your pennant, right? The flag. And when it broke out of that flag, the upside it went. So that's what I mean when I see those things. There's your 3-minute chart that Wall Street loves. It's negative here. Wow. Look at those numbers of people watching this morning. I love it. Keep it up. If you have a chance, do retweet us, hit the like button, thumbs me up a little bit, get us out there. We're doing quite well. We love it. So we love you all for watching us and keeping us out there. I've been in this game a long time. I know the markets very well. I've been doing this for over 3 decades, and I can tell you that in doing so, I know there's a lot of companies that just don't really know what they're doing. And I really wanted to bring something Quasar Markets to the world, so that we could filter out that real noise. Even some companies that say they're filtering out the noise, they just don't. They don't really know. They're not real companies doing real things. So be careful out there. It's a real harsh world that we live in. So, all right. This is getting very negative and weak again, so I'm getting very interested in possibly shorting this thing again. Oh, thanks, Marilyn. Appreciate it. I've been on a few pre-market shows around the country and the world, so I appreciate that. As you know, we started Benzinga Live. We love Benzinga. We're big fans. As you know, Dennis Dick and those team at Pre-Market Prep, I worked with them. So, okay, here it is again, right? That's what I kind of felt like we're going to do it again, right? You can see where the volume is really picking up again. Dollar now below 97 handle once again. Yeah. I just don't feel like there's enough volume right now for me to. I got to watch the volume here. Let's pull up a 3-minute chart, right? Let's see what it's saying. Interesting here. $42.89 on silver. We are keeping our eye very tight on silver this morning. You can see Domino's Pizza continuing to slide a bit, down $2.50 here now. VIX is still pushing here. We talked about that this morning. The VXX 3423 now up almost a percent here. So, you know, we've talked about that, keeping our eye on the VIX, because it looks to me that the institutions are slowly accumulating, doing it in a way that people don't recognize that accumulation. So I tell you, be very careful out there. For 1350 now. If we can get up to the linear regression here, could be a short. All right, I'm short. I'm going short here on Tesla here. Done. I am now short here. Get you what I'm at. 412.82 is where I'm short the first round. As you know, I don't. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Yep. There we go. Oh, dang. I accidentally hit the order button. Let's try that again. Trade. Go. All right, I'm short again now. I'm adding to that position. My order now is at 413.07. Yeah, there we go. Maybe it's gonna run up a little bit. There's some buyers coming in now. 414.18. All right, excellent. I will do more here. Great. All right. We are short. Pull up a 1 minute chart. Yeah, it's weak up here. Yeah. See, it's struggling here. Maybe they try to get to that line. I don't know. There we go. Oops. Go the wrong way here. Yeah, Trump talking about, okay, we're going the wrong way here a little bit. Yeah, it's going attacking that line. You can see where my sell line is. You can see where it's trying to attack it. Yeah. Sometimes I make mistakes. It's okay. But I am going to say short on this thing. I don't. It's too weak for me to understand. I don't think that's a. It did attack the line, but I don't see it. Bitcoin back around 115 here, so we're not seeing a lot of movement here. There we go. Okay, now let's see where we pull it back. There we go. Just weak. It's a weak. See that big heavy sell right there. I can hear Howard's voice in my head. Don't fade the Musk, but this one seems to be pretty weak to me. We can get below the 413 handle here. We could definitely see another test that 412 there. There we go. There's 413.45, 413.30, 20, 17. Get below the 413, maybe. And took a little profit off there. Don't blame myself for doing that. There we go. 413.03. There you go. Yep. So that's how I do it a lot of times. 413. There's 413. I thought they would go back to 413. That's how I do it. If you noticed, big numbers, and I take advantage of those 3-minute charts. So 1 minute and 3 minute are when we look at these early trades, I still think we might get a little lower here, but I was pretty heavy, as most of you know that. So yeah. Still looking at it from the 3-minute chart. You can see where we think that the sucker's going, right back down to the 410, but there's still a big fight here at this range. Got about 10 minutes down the top of the hour. Bitcoin still selling here. We can see that. Look at that. Look at that selling here in the last few minutes. That's institutional selling there. ETF selling, it looks like. Selling still happening there in Bitcoin. But our Apple still pushing higher here. I had a feeling that, look, the numbers there told me that the news is telling you that the sales in Apple, especially in the Pro Max, is very high. I mean, like I said, no good luck with November. Oh yeah, Maryland, there you go, right? Apple charging up, yeah, yeah. Eli Lilly now at 750 now a share as weight loss drugs are still on the forefront of a lot of people. That narrative is still out there. We talked about that, right? So uh, people are eating less donuts. I mean, we talked about donuts, right? Eating less donuts, McDonald's, and alcohol, right? You can see here at McDonald's, I really got the lines out there for you so you can understand. You can see where I put the linear regression and Andrew's pitchfork, and we've also laid out regression trading. So in this case, for me, the Fibonacci sequence from the bottom there, this thing is telling me that it's in no man's land for a while. McDonald's will not be going up or down. It'll be just kind of trading range. So yeah. Tesla's pushing out of the range here, 415. This could give me another good opportunity here. Flip a 3-minute chart, right? Let it push up. Maybe we take some profit here, or take some taking the short here on this thing. For 16.16, for 16.42. Maybe going to that sell line up there again, and then we take some profit. We start to short it again. Yeah, it's breaking out a linear regression here. And you can see a lot of buyers stepping in. Now there's your first negative volume candle here on the 10-second chart. So there's sellers are starting to pick up a bit. I hope you're picking this up as you can understand how I'm trading and what I think, or how I process the markets. If you don't, ask. I'm happy to be here to talk to you through it. Here we go again, looking at silver. There were some sellers there in the beginning, there in the early trade. We got pretty close to my 43 handle. What did we get to? About 42.97. Yeah, 3 cents away. So yeah, there's a lot of sellers at 93. It's where I thought we would go to. I mean, technically, I guess we're almost there. So I'm gonna make another run at it, I guess. But that's where I pretty much am. All right, there's your sellers that got out of the range, right out of the linear regression. Trump now says the Australian Prime Minister is coming to visit soon. All right. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Got about 5 minutes down the top of the hour here. Bitcoin trying to get back above that 115 handle now. It is very weak up here, though, folks. So we know we're getting close to the Yeah, I had a feeling. Tried tested it twice up there. Yeah, there's the selling. So if you're trading high level options, you're nailing this right now. Look at that. I said it. There it is. Top linear regression. There was going to be some selling up there. Thank you, Marilyn. These are things you need to have on your charts. Now, one of the things that I always talk about all the time is if your charts look the same as it did 3 months ago, you're doing it wrong, right? If you have the same things on your charts, it's because the markets change. And how technical indicators are on your charts should be different, right? You should notice I put Woody CCI up here because that gives me a much clearer picture of the force. And Elder's force is another one I probably should be putting up here. Tells me the force of the volume, right? If the volume is low, I need to understand the force of that volume. So you can see here. Now look at that bottom linear regression. There's some buyers down there. So if you're trading heavy options, this is pretty easy calling here now on this. Apple's continuing to push higher now. This morning we talked about that. I said that there could be some selling and then should push right on up as the news starts to take over for Apple. So well done, Marilyn, if you were still in your Apple longs there. And you can see in the linear regression, but there it is all the way up. And you can, I mean, it's just not hard to watch. There you go. Breaks out. We do not have a Discord server. So when people tell you that technical trading is the only way to trade, they're wrong. Okay, I've been doing this longer than they have. 99% of people are trading technically, and I love charts. I mean, I have them, right? If people tell you that news is the only way to trade, they're wrong. And I love the news. I'm a news junkie. I've been a news junkie for 34 years, 35. They're wrong. If people tell you it's all about AI, they're wrong. What is the answer? The answer is all of it. You need to have a much clearer picture of all of it at the same time. And a lot of companies, they just focus on one thing, technicals, or they focus on news, or they focus on the AI side. We built Quasar Markets to have everything here to show you a little bit of everything and how it all works together, how your technical trades work with your news, how it works with your options. I mean, for those of you who don't know, unusual options, right? I mean, I'm the one that helped build the unusual options module for Benzinga, right? I'm trying to show you how it all works together, how to make better trades, how to get a grip on your investing. Because this is not gambling. People say it's, oh, well, you know, it feels like gambling. It's not gambling. I never gamble. I make very clear, concise, direct decisions based on what's in front of me. And that's what I wanted to impart to you, is how to actually trade. Now, I'm going to pull up Bitcoin. We know we talked about Bitcoin earlier, right? Look at there. It's still in a bull. We're seeing a little bit of the super trend here to the downside. Now, I don't like that too much. But there's still buyers in it. The institutions are still buying it. So, you know, whatever we're seeing here right now is playing, right? Marilyn, when I started trading, I was given graph paper and pen. There was no computers like we have today, right? I've been in the forefront of building a lot of the stuff that we see and use today. I was the visionary leadership of these companies that use these products, right? And that's why. All right, here we are. Business inventory is now coming in 0.2%. We expected 0.2%, and previous was 0.2%. So business inventories, meaning that companies are not building inventory to sell. They're just staying the course. They're not sure. That is not a good thing. If you, home builders now coming in at index coming at 32, estimate there was for 33. So home builders will keep an eye. We should do right here, DRI, DH Horton. Probably selling off. It is now. We'll pull up a 10-second chart here to give it a better. Yeah, home builders are slipping a little bit still. Again, we know that. Yeah. And 4.053 now on the 10-year. Still at 97 here on the Dixie. The dollar's still at 97. And we are seeing, okay, let's get back to it real quickly before I let you all go. Tesla at 417.30 now. All right, there's the 10-second chart. So if we're looking to do this again, looking for another trade, Apple now 241 here now near the highs of the day. You can see here, let's get it back up to here to about 418. And I bet you can sell it off. Now we can see. Trump now says he does not want to make money. He wants war in Ukraine to stop. Me too. I'm seeing some heavy put buying here in NVIDIA. We'll pull up NVIDIA. Somebody's bought $1 million worth of puts here to the downside. It looks like the sweep's coming in at the looks like the 177.50 handle there. So it looks like somebody is buying in the money puts there, pretty heavy on NVIDIA. Bitcoin 115, 225. Trying to get back up there. The selling was pretty strong this morning. You can see it there. That was a little bit of institutional, but they're slowly ticking it back up. All right, Tesla 418.77. We get back up there. Get back up there. Could sell it off. All right, it's 10 o'clock. The hour's here. Hope you learned something today. We will see you right back here. Hopefully, Howard could get his power back on. I heard 11:30 is when they were told the power would get back on. So we should see my boy Howard soon. And Quasar Markets is not the same without him. All right, from all of us here at Quasar Markets Live, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you a little bit later days. We have other people coming on today, so excited about that. But we'll see you later. You're welcome, Ron.